Morning, everyone. Hope you guys are having a good Thursday. Gonna give it a few minutes for other people to hop on here. We'll get started in just a few minutes. All right. So I'm actually gonna record this so people can watch it on the replay. Today we're gonna be talking about if anybody's like struggling with running or ramping back into running, where they take some time off and they take a week or two off and it starts feeling better, and so they try and give it a go again and try and run again, but it just keeps coming back. And this is something that you're dealing with. This is what we're going to be addressing today and try and get you answers on how to break the cycle of running, stopping, running, resting, stopping, and all this. We want to make it so you one of the worst things you can actually do is rest completely. In the meantime, and we're going to get into all this in just a second, but I want to give you guys like 12 tips essentially on how to ramp back into running safely. So if this is something that you're dealing with too, then you're in the right place. We're going to be addressing all this. So um, whether it's hip issue, knee issue, ankle issue, low back issue, all these are going to be applicable and what you can use to ramp back into running. So first of all, if you've been dealing with this for over like 2 to 3 weeks and it just doesn't seem to be getting any better or not changing, then it's to be honest, it's best to get it looked at, right? By a professional, whether that's physical therapist, chiropractor, your physician, sports med physician, what have you. It's honestly best to get it looked at first, because the sooner you can get this looked at, the better. However, I know that's not what people want to hear right off the bat, so I'm going to be giving you some other tips that you can do if you want to try and go at this on your own, and stuff that can be beneficial and help. But your best bet for success is seeing a professional and somebody that has a track record for dealing with this. Okay, so first of all, you do want to rest to a certain extent. You want to rest for about a week. What I mean by that is to decrease and eliminate running for about a week. However, that doesn't mean you should be resting completely. It's just resting from running and resting from other activities that seem to aggravate it. We need to calm. We need to get a reset. We need to calm down the inflammation that might be in the joints, in the tendons, or the ligaments, or whatever tissue is irritated as well. In the meantime, you should be addressing what might be the issue. So you could be doing a lot of stretching as well as foam rolling during this time to help loosen up any tissues that might be restricted. And because tight tissues are usually the source of a lot of the pain, even though it might not always be the root cause. But stretching and foam rolling can be super helpful during this time. After about a week of rest from running, then you want to start ramping back into running in a safe way. But also during this time, you want to be doing some cross training and some strength training. If you're not doing some strength training, this is where a lot of runners can put themselves at a higher risk for injury. When we're running, we land with 3 to 5 times our body weight. Our body has to be very, very strong and resilient to be able to withstand landing with every step 3 to 5 times their body weight, right? You can imagine if all we did was run, um, then I mean, our joints and our muscles are gonna be strong to a certain extent, but we need to be doing some strength training. The research out there is conclusive on that. Like if you do a lot of strength training, squats, deadlifts, single leg exercises, it decreases your risk for injury substantially. So if you haven't been doing strength training in the past, that's something you should be ramping up into. Again, ramping up, just like we're gonna be ramping up with the running. We don't want to just go gung ho with all this. We need to be ramping into it intelligently. So um, get into some strength training. Big key takeaway there. Then ramp back into running slowly. So what I mean by that is 1 minute on, 1 minute off. Okay, run for a minute and then walk for a minute, and do this for just 5 minutes. Okay, you guys are like, oh my gosh, it's only 5 minutes. Well, we gotta take baby steps with this and assess what your tolerance is for running. Okay, so that's just a start. You can ramp up this more quickly, but we need to start figuring out where your tolerance is at for running and whether you have it or not, right? Because if we just jump right back into 30 minutes or 45 minutes of running right away, that's just going to recreate the issue, and most likely we're going to have to do another rest reset of at least a week of no running, right? So rather start off slowly and allow you guys to start progressing back into running, than let you run the way you want to one time and then have to rest for at least another week. And it's just a vicious cycle. And this is a cycle that we see so many runners get into. Okay, so ramp up super slow. If you tolerate that and have no pain, and your pain doesn't increase or anything like that as you run, you're in the clear, right? That's a very good sign. It tells us that it should tell you that you have a capacity for running. Your body can tolerate running. We just got to ramp it up from there. Okay. And then increase 5 minutes each day and fluctuate your on and off periods. Okay. So on the first like week, I like to give it a day of rest in between. So do 5 minutes of running on Monday, rest on Tuesday. You can do some strength training, and on Wednesday you can ramp it up again another 5 minutes. After you get out of that first week of ramping up, then the next week you can start running every day, and increasing by 5 minute increments each time. And then you still want to keep doing those on and off periods. You can fluctuate that instead of maybe doing a minute. If you start feeling really good, instead of maybe doing 1 minute on, 1 minute off, you can do 1.5 minutes or 90 seconds on and 30 seconds off, right? And start fluctuating, and playing around with, that on and off periods, okay? And then increasing 5 minutes, all right? Another thing too that can be important is it could be that your running form is off or your mechanics are off. We want to a lot of times, I don't know if you guys heard of the terms like heel strike, forefoot strike, toe runner, stuff like that. But if we do a heel strike, or overstriding, it increases the braking forces or the amount of forces that are being transmitted through that heel up into the shin, the knee, and the hip. Okay. And that braking force and that impact forces when we land, if we do a heel strike, become even more if our strides are the longer that our strides get, the more that the impact forces increase. So we need to decrease our cadence or decrease our stride length, right? So we're landing more frequently and our strides are getting smaller. You can also try switching to more of a forefoot, technique where we don't want to be running on our toes or tippy toes or anything like that, but we want to be running or landing kind of on the ball of our foot or our midfoot. Okay. By doing that and transitioning that weight to the forefoot versus the heel, now instead of, because when we land on our heel, it's just bone, right? The next thing that gets absorbed is the ankle, then it's the shins, and then we finally get some muscle help from the knee joint, okay, the quads and the hamstrings and stuff like that. But that's a long way up the chain, right? So that's why a lot of people get shin splints, ankle issues, plantar fasciitis, and knee issues because there's so much large, forces with each step. If we start transitioning to more of a forefoot strike, now we can get some help from the gastroc and the soleus, your calf muscles. Okay, those start aiding in absorbing some of that, pressure. And your calves are a very strong and resilient group of muscles, and they can significantly help decrease, how much impact force we're landing with, and decrease some of the stress on our ankle joint, our shins, our knees, our hips, and even our low back. Okay, so it can be beneficial to switch, to more of a forefoot running technique. However, again, you want to ramp up slowly into that because we don't want to aggravate the calf muscles or the Achilles tendon or anything like that. We need to be ramping up into it very similar, as I just mentioned, if you're just trying to get back to running, period. Another thing that can be helpful is improving your diet. Okay, if we're ingesting a lot of sugar, sugar promotes inflammation throughout our body. We also need to be making sure that we're drinking enough water that helps flush out, the inflammation and any toxins that are in our bodies and allow for more efficient healing. Another thing that's important is protein. Make sure that if we want to run or we're doing strength training, what we're doing is we are breaking down the muscles, okay, from using them. And what happens is because the muscles break down, we need protein to help build those back. So the process of building muscle is you break it down through running or strength training or an activity, and then the body over repairs itself okay, by utilizing protein and foods that we eat to make us more stronger and more resilient because the body overbuilds on those muscles that were broken down, and that's how we get stronger. If we don't have the protein intake that we need, then we're not recovering the way that we need to. Our muscles are going to be not as strong and not as high quality as we need them to be. They're more susceptible to breakdown and injury and pain. Okay, so improve your diet, protein, decreasing your sugar intake, and then also increasing your water intake. Okay. Um, Also, you want to limit painkillers or like ibuprofen or Advil or anything like that because that just does a lot of you. That's kind of just treating it's not really treating the root issue. It's kind of just treating the symptoms. And there's a lot of bad things that can. There's some research out there that shows that it can decrease the quality of the tissues, of the muscles, the tendons, and then also can cause gastrointestinal issues as well. So we don't want to be relying on those. Okay. And then main thing is set a goal. Set a goal on what you want to reach, whether that's like a half marathon, a marathon, or anything like that. Set a goal to aim for. It'll keep you motivated and give you something to aim for. And lastly, stay positive. Okay, it's a process. A lot of times, so many of our patients that come in and see us are so kind of mentally beat down because they've been dealing with it for months, years, sometimes even a decade. We've had people that come in and see us that have been having pain for over a decade, and they haven't been able to run for that time period. And they're at the point where they just want to go up and down stairs pain free, right? Because they're having knee pain. And they want to get back to and I tell them like, did you used to just run in the past, or is that something you want to get back to? And like, yeah, I guess that would be awesome if I could, but I really don't think that's even possible. And guess what? We hear this so often, and 9 times out of 10 these patients are back to running within 2 to 3 months. Okay, the ones that haven't been able to run for a decade. For the ones that have only been dealing with a month or closer to a year, it's a pretty easy transition if you know what you're doing. But we see so many of our patients that come in with this, and we get them back to reaching their goals within a month or two, and they've been struggling with it for years, and like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I wasted all this time, all this energy, all this research and time spent on the internet trying to fix myself, and it never worked. And how easy of a fix this was. I wish I would have just done this from the get go, right? So, main thing is don't struggle through this. Get some help. Okay, it's much more efficient and effective if you can get somebody like I mentioned. Like number one thing I mentioned is get it looked at. Whether it's us, another physical therapist, chiropractor, physician, go find somebody that's gonna be able to help you get back to that. And if you come across a practitioner, and this might be common, you might run into this the first time you try and reach out to somebody. If you tell them that a lot of times, if you tell a physician or a physical therapist that you're having knee pain and the only thing you're really having pain with is running, they'll just tell you, oh, well, it's no big deal, just stop running, right? Find other activities, maybe go biking or running or swimming. Sorry, biking or swimming or hiking or things that are low impact on the body, right? In my opinion, that's bullcrap. You can get back to running no matter what knee issue or ankle issue, hip issue you're dealing with, or however long you've been dealing with it. It doesn't make a huge bit of difference because you can get back to that. We've helped hundreds of people who do it. Okay, even ones that have been to physical therapists and physicians and other practitioners that told them that they'd never be able to run again. Okay, so that's a big key takeaway is know that you will get back to it. You just need the right help. You're not broken. Um, no offense, but you're not special in the sense that, oh, you're just doomed from running. It's only you. No, everybody has the capacity to get back to running. Okay, and you will get back to that. So set a goal, stay positive, and that will keep you moving along. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. All right, thanks, guys.